Another thing, so one of the common themes that emerges when we have conversations with the women that we support is around bonding with a baby, or more that they might feel an interruption to that whole bonding kind of process. Can you explore this for us and the links to attachment around this kind of possible interruption?
I mean, it feels very unnatural for mums to have that break in attachment and that bonding. You know, whenever you birth or are pregnant, evolutionary, we are totally programmed as women to keep our little babies as close to us as possible. And so for that to be interrupted in some way will not only have a very big psychological impact potentially on mum, but there could be then the fear on how that's going to affect attachment. And what I always talk to families about when there has been this interruption of attachment is attachment isn't a one-off thing that you do. It isn't like, you know, you have this window of your baby in the first couple of months of life and that's it forevermore. However, there are things that you can do when attachment is interrupted. And for example, if your baby isn't with you, and that could be, you know, the joys of technology now. If your baby is somewhere else to you, is that you are there and you talk to them, you get into, you know, you're maybe the person who reads your baby the bedtime story over the phone or FaceTime or whatever that looks like. When you can look into the eyes of your baby, you know, making those connections. Your baby will have been inside you and knows your voice for months. So you can carry on that even if it hasn't, if you're not physically with your baby. Another thing that you can do is if you have a top that you've been wearing during the day, you know, you can take that off, and that's maybe what your baby is around at, gets to smell. So your baby still associates that smell with you. And whenever you get your any opportunity is you touch your baby, you have as much skin to skin as possible. And again, that's not a time limited thing. If you've been apart even for a couple of months from your baby, you can still carry those things on whenever you return home. I think for women, you know, as I was saying there, in that sense of we are programmed to have our little people as close to us as possible all the time. And so it's also managing what may feel like a very unnatural thing that's happening. And so it's thinking about, what do you need to feel connected to your baby? Does it mean that you need to hear them? Do you need to have updates? Do you need to find some way to be able to listen to them, you know, through a monitor? Or so it's, I guess, expanding it to be as creative as possible to try and connect with that little person. And it may be even, you know, if you think about it, like that umbilical cord is still there. That's still connected, even in the absence of you not necessarily being there.
Thank you, Jan.